Hello everyone, this is PK Entertainment and we're back again, and here now we have another video for you, and we're going to talk about Amber Heard and do a post-analysis of her current position following her recent loss of the defamation case against ex-husband and movie star actor Johnny Depp. Now you can check out exclusive coverage of all 6 weeks of the trial within the channel, and I'll leave some links within the description. So as you all know, Amber lost on all counts in terms of the defamation concerning her op-ed article written within the Washington Post in 2018, where the jury deemed it was defaming Johnny with some malice. Now she also lost against Johnny on 2 counts in terms of her counterclaims that Johnny defamed her via Daily Mail articles in 2020. Now she did manage to win on 1 count of defamation against Johnny's lawyer Adam Waldron, in which she was awarded $2 million. Now I still question that award. If the jury decided that the allegations weren't true, then doesn't that render Waldron's statements true itself? But we'll debate that for another day. So we'll continue on with Amber's current position. So if we take off the $10,350,000 that's owed to Johnny, Amber is currently left owing $8,350,000. So there's plenty of debate going around and asking the questions, what does Amber do next? So if we look at the current state that she's in now, as well as owing $8,350,000, she also has to deal with an extremely negative perception within mainstream media and culture. Now prior to the trial, she already was hated on mostly for lying and ruining Johnny's career, and this was really brought about with the leaked audios, which very much confirmed that she was indeed the abuser and not Johnny. Now post the trial, many have accused her of setting back genuine victims of domestic abuse, whose claims may not be taken as seriously now following the verdict of this trial. In terms of her movie career, I think we can safely say that concerning any high profile big budget movies, it's pretty much over really. There's been no studio that want to associate with her. She just bring about too much negative press to the overall projects that they're trying to promote. And if we think about it, if studios were willing to disavow Johnny for just the allegations, remember Johnny wasn't actually convicted of these charges, then they're not really going to want to attach themselves with Amber, who has been confirmed as a malicious defamer, are they? So yep, in terms of her movie career, I can't really see her being able to sustain certainly a very prolific and successful acting career. So because she's not an established actress, she can't really rely on a constant workload or salary. It's been speculated by many that Warner Brothers will go on to decide to completely cut her footage from the upcoming Aquaman sequel, which is due for release in March 2023. So as was confirmed within the trial, she'll still get paid for her contribution towards the movie, but there'll be no footage of her during the final release. So because she won't be included in the final release, therefore she'll get less profile and less opportunity to star in future roles. In terms of her actual net worth, it's not looking very good on that front either. It's been confirmed by multiple outlets that her current net worth is ranging from anything from 2.5 million to a negative amount of 6 million. And I believe this is when you account for the charges that she's got to pay towards Johnny. And most recently, her current or her ex-lawyer Elaine Bredenhoft has appeared on several news outlets confirming that Amber can't pay the damages that are owed. So in terms of her reputation, which seems very much tarnished, her net worth, which is clearly diminished, and her movie career, which is pretty much over, what can Amber do? Let's try and take a much more encouraging stance as to what Amber can do to possibly get out of this situation. Well, first things first, she has to arrange how exactly she'll pay back the $8,350,000 owed to Johnny. Now, I've stated before that I feel that Johnny will likely waive off a lot of the debt via some form of disclosure settlement, as his whole trial was more about restoring his reputation rather than money itself. So it's going to take a lot of compromise and probably much more of a concession on Amber's part, and an even more so ironclad agreement given how Amber broke the last settlement when she received $7 million by writing the op-ed article in the first place. But I do believe there is potential for some form of settlement with Johnny that could probably result in some sort of reduced amount of repayment plan. So perhaps some grovelling apologies to Johnny might be on the list of priorities for Amber. Now we do know of a previous relationship with billionaire CEO of Tesla, Elon Musk, so dependent on how their current relationship stands at the moment, maybe Amber can ask Elon for some form of loan in exchange for any other obligations. I won't speculate any further there, but that's another further option if they're still on good speaking terms. In terms of another option, can Amber claim bankruptcy to avoid paying up? Well, the simple answer is no, and many financial experts have confirmed that the debts owed can't be discharged through bankruptcy because those debts were acquired through defamatory and malicious actions. And because those actions are seen as some form of wrongdoing, then bankruptcy wouldn't be appropriate in terms of discharging those debts owed. By allowing bankruptcy, you basically allow somebody to cause harm to somebody else and get away with it without punishment, which is not what bankruptcy was designed for. So that option is definitely out for Amber in that case. So how else can she generate money? Well, one option is to write and sell an autobiography. We could question how much money would that actually generate, but it could help contribute. There will always be somebody who's interested in her story, and if she builds it right and markets the book right, it may be able to generate some form of revenue. So those are the 3 options that I would consider for Amber in terms of trying to pay off the amount owed. I'd advise settling with Johnny for a lower repayment, asking Elon for some sort of loan, and perhaps selling her story via autobiography. Those would probably be the most viable options to help her generate some sort of income. So when we look at her situation in terms of her image, now as I mentioned already, it's pretty much tarnished at this stage. You'll find very little sympathy from any person, regardless of whether it's on social media or general audience. Following the divorce settlement, everybody saw her as a gold digger. So post this trial now, as well as being a gold digger, everyone's going to see her now as some sort of hateful, malicious liar. So rebuilding her image is going to be even harder than repaying Johnny back. But can she somehow come back in some sort of positive perception in terms of the media and somehow regain some sort of career within entertainment? In theory, I'm going to say yes, and the only reason I'm saying that is because primarily we are in a culture now where very much the idea of notoriety and infamy are very much maximised for overall profit and profile. We've seen multiple celebrities who have committed many misdemeanors or crimes and have managed to come back in the industry in some form of capacity. We've seen multiple times within social media how many YouTube personalities or social influencers have thrived and become financially well off because they very much embraced the notoriety and the outrage culture. And as we all know, outrage and negativity and controversy always sells. So if Amber wanted to, she could go full throttle and embrace the notoriety of her damaged reputation, her perception, and use it to very much gain traction within social media for all the clicks and the views. And from that, she could generate much more of a platform. Now, I'm not sure she'll be able to build an established mainstream platform, but via social media, there's definitely scope for her to build her own platform, whether it be a YouTube channel or further Instagram videos, or dare I say an OnlyFans account. Now, that might sound ludicrous at this point, but it's definitely worth an option for Amber at this definite stage. We then talk about the cultural redemption arc and how people always love a comeback story. Now, generally, as long as you haven't murdered somebody or you haven't molested any children, generally the public will be willing to give people second chances, especially if they feel the personality is being overly bullied or attacked, or if that personality comes out and admits what they've done is wrong and they're trying to change. Audiences will always find that character arc more relatable and will always try to connect with somebody who admits their mistakes. So in a strange way, the overwhelming vitriol and hatred shown to Amber right now may end up creating an element of sympathy for her, as crazy as that sounds. So if Amber wants to really rebuild her image or even her career, I would say the first thing to do is to actually take some time out from the spotlight. As we all know the nature of the industry, there'll always be some other controversy that we'll be talking about within the next week or the next month or the next year. So what she needs to do is to actually just let people actually forget about her. Now, this will be extremely difficult since all of the footage from the trial and all of the evidence is now all on public record. It's all over the internet. You only just need to type in Amber Heard's name and you'll find all of the exhibits of the photos and the audios all over the place. So it will be very difficult for people to forget, but it is possible. But in order to do this, Amber really needs to take a step back from everything. Looking to appeal the case or having Elaine Breedenhoff doing all of these TV interviews and posting further messages on social media is not going to help. She needs to stop all that and she needs to back away from everything, withdraw from social media completely. Probably I would say go on a hiatus for around 2 to 3 years minimum, just to let everything die down, and then after that then maybe she could come out in some sort of interview telling her life story, and again, as I mentioned before, maybe write an autobiography, and then she could slowly take the rebuilding steps from there. Now, of course, she has to be very cautious if she takes this step, because any mention of Johnny or their relationship could be interpreted to be defamatory, and we could go through this whole case once again, and Amber doesn't want to do that given the money that she already owes. So if she's going to go that route of doing interviews and telling her own story, it would be very advisable not to mention their particular marriage. She of course can talk about that they dated before the marriage, that they got married and then they divorced and then they had the child, because all of those are factual statements. But she would be well advised to not talk about anything that went on during their relationship or the perceptions afterwards. As per the op-ed article has proven, all it takes is one phrase, one line of dialogue, one quote, and we could be doing all of this all over again. So she really needs to be considered in terms of her media perception if she wants to indeed go about telling her own story. And in terms of her movie career, as I mentioned before, she won't ever be a highly prolific actress, but if she's really passionate about acting and she still wants to have a profession within the industry, she could creep in with tiny small roles that are perhaps not even credited. We see this all the time. We see household names appear in certain movies that they don't get credit for. Maybe she could go on some form of Hallmark type of movie, platforms such as those where they churn out a lot of content but it doesn't really get seen by a lot of people. Something like that where she can make multiple appearances in small little roles and just consistently over time build up a steady catalogue of performances. And who knows, after time has passed away, she might be able to come up with some extraordinary performance that captures the imagination, whilst people will still acknowledge what she's done within this trial. If her performance is of some extraordinary level, the public will look at that and give her kudos and credit for that, and maybe she can use the credit from that performance to rebuild her career. As I said, it's very unlikely, but we do have certain examples of people who have done this in the past and are now currently thriving within the industry. So in terms of her image and her branding, that's what I would suggest. Take some time out and then steadily build your way slowly back into the industry. Again, very little hype or histrionics or sensationalism. Just have very much of a muted activity, and then somehow you can maybe creep your way back into the overall industry. Now, will Amber do any of the things that I've suggested throughout this review? I very much doubt it at the moment. It seems very much that she's going to go the route where she's going to take on all comers. It seems like she's going to continue with the appeal, which I don't think she'll win. And it very much seems that she's going to embrace the negativity, embrace notoriety, and look to generate lots of income that way and rebuild her career through that particular strategy. Now, I don't agree with this, but that certainly seems what Amber is going to do at the moment. But we will wait and see overall what Amber does next in the next upcoming weeks and months, and it will certainly be very good for all of us on social media following if indeed she goes on the front foot with this, and it will certainly provide a lot of content for us to keep continuing on even though the trial has now been finished. So there's my overall thoughts and feelings on what Amber Heard can do next post the events of the trial which she lost against Johnny Depp for defamation and malice. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If there are any other stories or reports or rumours that you'd like to see me cover surrounding this trial, then let me know and I will see if I can provide more commentary for you. Please also hit and like those subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, stay safe distances, and I will see you very, very soon.